Good morning from the Napa Valley. It's sunny today. Yesterday it was cloudy all day and actually started to rain a bit last night and through the night, and now it's this gorgeous sunny day. I wanted to address the shadow and the perceived darkness that we sometimes feel that is actually overwhelming at times, that we don't even know if we even want to be in human form anymore. It's like, just go park that vehicle and let the spirit soar and try something else, because get really difficult. It's not all love and light, and all those people that go around the love and lighters and only focus on the positive. What happens to, and this is my belief, everything of course is my 60 some years on the planet of what I've experienced and even what I came through with the information as a child and being one of the first forerunners of the Indigo movement, but not intentionally. I didn't find that out till much later. And the only reason that's important for all of those that don't really understand, we think we're so different and we don't fit in, and really we just had a different message to share with the planet. And so I decided, actually, because of what I went through the last 2 days. Like I posted something on Instagram about the integration of the masculine and feminine, and that came up to me. That was so vital right now on the planet. And so what happened was, though, and I don't know what triggered this, but all of a sudden the next day I woke up in such dread. Actually, it wasn't the next day. It was after I posted that. And it wasn't long after I posted that it seemed to take me into a deep dive into the shadow, into the darkness. And it's really fascinating to me, because all of those of us that are more on that, we're on that awakening path. I don't use the word woke or awake. I'm woke or I'm awakened, because believe me, you wouldn't be saying that if you were. We are on a path of that, and it's a continuous path. And therefore, until we get to the deepest roots of what is being suppressed, not only in ourself, and this is where intuitive empaths, I really want you to hear that. We are doing it for the planet also, because so much of the planet is ignoring what is really happening on all the levels within us. It's magnifying into the world because we're not addressing it within ourselves. So it's like a nightmare where it starts out as just this little dream, and you wake up and go, what the heck was that about? And if we really don't go into it, we don't pay attention to the message that it brought us for our life, then suddenly what happens is we start having the nightmare. And the nightmare is to wake us up and go, pay attention. It's just like when our physical body starts to deteriorate, or disease comes, or anything like that, starts coming. We sometimes want to find this outer remedy instead of first going in and finding the soul remedy. What is my body telling me? What is it trying to teach me? What direction does it want to go on, instead of what everybody in the outer world tells you? So the experts, you are the expert. Yes, get advice from other people, but first go in within yourself and really get in touch with, does this feel right to me, what they're saying? Is it triggering a response that says yes, or is it going, oh, maybe I should try that because they're smarter than me or wiser than me, or they have more degrees than me or something? No. This is not about that anymore. This is the inner wisdom, the masculine feminine integration. So it's kind of why I chose on this sunny day to wear black, because I want us to remember that there's so much hidden within us that is lifetimes of information. And when we suppress it, or for any reason, if it was too painful at something as a child, if society told us it wasn't okay to think like that or act like that, it gets suppressed and buried. So I remember one time within me, I was kind of diving in and something happened, and I really went into that deep inquiry, which told me where to look and what was I avoiding, and where had I acted out of hurt, which became anger. So in other words, projecting it on to others or another. is always stems back to some pain or suffering within that we really need to address, because really it doesn't matter what people do to us anymore when we can go in and really see that it's not triggering us. We don't feel those words as being hurtful or stinging or whatever. We're just like, we're holding the space for them to express their point of view from where they are at this time in their life journey. So it's just one of those things where I was going in and I saw this part of me within this child, and it was like this door opened, like it was old and dark and deep, like almost like that Hobbit kind of thing, where the little door, the arched door, and something creaked it open and it was hitting up against dirt, like it had been closed for so long. Dirt had compiled and created this stuckness for it to even open, but these two little eyes peeked out. And it was interesting because I realized it was actually one of the times was a little boy. And I realized that was somehow perhaps a lifetime as me. It could be a lifetime as me as a boy, or it could be that this inner, as I'm talking about masculine and feminine integration, that wanted to be integrated, that wanted to be accepted, that it was okay and it could move into the light. And the more I did that, the more I just acknowledged it and said, I'm going to sit with you. It's okay that you're dark or you're angry or you're whatever it is that's coming out. I'm going to sit with you and just love you. And when I started doing that in the psyche of my mind, I'm just throwing out what's coming in my head. I don't have a clue if these words are the right words, but you'll figure it out. So that part of my mind, all of a sudden, other doors started opening and more ancient looking beings were there. And so it made me realize it's like pulling a big old root out of the ground. And, you think you pulled it out because you've got all that big green stuff at the top and you got this thick root, but you realize if you look at it, it's been broken off at the bottom. And a lot of that root is still there. And so therefore it's going to come and surface at another time. So you thought, oh, I got rid of this darkness. It's gone. Boy, I'm woke. I'm wonderful. I'm on the path. I can tell everybody how to do everything. Well, that's usually when you get knocked on your ass again, because what's happening underneath there is that part is growing again and saying, no, you never integrated the rest of this. So anyway, it was interesting because I wrote a post, and I don't know if I can show it or not. Maybe I'll go ahead and put it on Instagram today. But it was. I thought, okay, let's be real. I tried to do. Was it yesterday? Anyway, I tried to create a post, and I thought, okay, I'll do something uplifting. And I thought that's BS. That's not what I'm feeling right now, right now. So the word came up, cracked and question mark. And actually the font I used is a cracked font. And then all of a sudden, more horizontal or vertical. Anyway, came up another word. Okay, I guess you'll have to find out when you go on my Instagram post. But two words came up, and then I thought, is this how the light comes in? But I couldn't write anything because I couldn't write from the perspective of, hey, I dove into this. I embraced that darkness. I didn't have the experience yet, so it just would be BS. It would be somebody again trying to be, oh boy, look at me, I'm being so authentic. No, I had to go in and experience all these emotions that I was feeling. So certain things about failure and what certain people that have been in my life forever will think. And suddenly I didn't care. And I could even write an email to many of these people and say, hey, this is what's going on. These are the options I have. Well, none of them responded. which I didn't expect them to, but it wasn't my issue. After I wrote this, because I grew up in a family where everybody's supposed to be a certain way. Even society looks, oh, you've got this great family, you got this. No, we have our lessons. We were born into our lessons. So I know some families out there that, boy, from the outside, they look like the perfect families. But underneath, it's BS. And some of the families that I found through my life that would fight and scream and carry on, they would do that, and they'd be authentic, and they'd be real, and they'd be able to express themselves and not feel shame or guilty or anything. And then they're off having fun, because it's done. So this whole suppression thing and trying to look good is bad news for the planet, because it doesn't give people permission to go into when they do hit darkness. So even I, as a coach and a mentor, a spiritual mentor and a healer and a writer of a book called The Awakening Ones, you'd think, I can't be writing this stuff. I can't be sharing this stuff, because what will people think? Who will use me? Because I don't look like I have my act together. Well, unless I really start walking on water, or not even manifestation, because manifestation, we can all do manifestation, but we can create whatever we want. It's not even that. Until we could live such an exemplary life that we don't need to say anything and everybody flocks to us for our wisdom, then forget it. We're not there yet. I hate to inform you. We all have to go through these things. And the more that we are intuitive empaths and just being anybody that's empathic and developing that and opening to that, you are feeling the vibration of the planet. We just become more aware of it because we're like these open channels that go, holy crud, what the heck is going on? Either inside of myself or as a collective planet. So what I want to say is there's times where it's not going to make any sense to you because you think, there's nothing in there. There's no inner work to do. But it's like in a Ho'oponopono, Dr. Hugh Len's experience, where he went into the mental facility in Hawaii and never even wanted to meet these so-called crazy people, that some of them were chained down and drugged because they were so violent and stuff. And he refused to even go in and meet any of them or let them come to him. He sat in the office with file after file after file of these so-called crazy people or criminals or, whatever they labeled them as. And he went in to what the issues were and found them deep within himself and began to heal those issues. So once he healed the issue within himself, then guess what? They were healed miraculously. So people were beginning to be unchained. They stopped being drugged. Workers at the facility started showing up where they used to have, I think they had to have 3 times. I studied his work many years ago and met him, and I think we were in Portland and did a course with him directly, which was pretty awesome. But anyway, they had to have, I think it was 3 times the staff, because so many people called in sick all the time because the energy was so heavy and so dark that it was, they would be ill or just couldn't take it. So anyway, it's an amazing Ho'opono, but believe me, through the years, I forget. I get wrapped up in my own shadows. I get wrapped up in what's happening on the planet. But again, let's go back into the deepest. So I'm kind of going all over the place. Let me read what I wrote in the shower. Well, I wrote it. I thought it in the shower and I wrote it right after. Let's see. So I might be repeating things as a reminder that, the darkness is a reminder that as a society, we have been taught to avoid the darkness, to only focus on love and light, which is a suppression of what the shadow self wants to reveal to us in order to heal that which has been suppressed. Because of our fear of the shadow, we avoid what can empower us and expand our light and that of the entire planet. So remember that when you go into that darkness, I wrote 2 other pages too. I don't know if you want me to read this, but when we go in and we heal something within ourselves, and if it's so dark, like honestly, 2 days ago, I'm going, I don't want to be here. I honest to God want to park this vehicle and take my soul and leave this dense, 3D planet and be on with it. I didn't come from this planet. And so why do I have to do this? Well, the why is because we made that agreement. Okay. So it's not only your own inner work to see what's triggering you. It's like your future self came back and saying, okay, these are the things we didn't deal with that gave us the results of what's going on now. And we're going to go in and heal those. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if any of this is important. I'll just skim through it if you have any interesting. Let's see, don't reject darkness and refuse to witness witness it. It's wonderful to always want to stay in the light. But if you push or suppress fears, push them away or suppress fears, you get stuck in a repetitive loop. If you have the courage to dive into it, just totally dive into it, and feel the pain, the suffering, the loneliness, the confusion. If you have that, strength to go in there, it will reveal itself. And that's what I remember doing. It was like there was just 2 parts of my mind. The one going, why the hell am I in this right now? The other saying, especially because I felt I had let go of so much. I mean, I remember when I was in my 30s saying, when I'm 60, boy, I'm not going to care what people think. I'm going to do what I want to do and just blow them off and act how I want to do. Well, I've passed that. So the thing with that is what you hadn't healed still gets the opportunity to be healed before you do leave this vehicle, this body vehicle, to move on. And, that's why it was so important. So instead of saying, maybe I should go buy a bottle of red wine and have a glass or 2. And, it was like, no, I don't really drink wine anymore on a rare occasion. Maybe I should go do something. I'm going to go to the movie theater and just watch like 3 films or something just to escape. And, it was really clear that wasn't going to solve the problem. All it was going to do was come back up in some form or another, just gradually or a big bang. So I might as well deal with it now. So anyway, any of your suffering, engage with it. Deep inquiry. As I learned with doing the work, being trained in the work, it's called The Work. Byron Katie was my teacher. And engage with it. Deep inquire. Ask it what it wants to share. Let it grow larger. And that was the thing. It was like, I'm not asking to suppress it and to pacify it. That, thank you for sharing, pat, pat, pat. No, it was like, magnify this. I want it big. I want to see it. What am I not seeing? And those were some of the questions I asked, like, what am I not seeing? And show me. And so it was really fascinating to even then go into the feelings of having no response from these people I sent this email to, 0, which, like I said, I didn't expect any response. It was like, oh, it's okay. I mean, truly okay. And I would have actually been shocked if I got a response, to be perfectly honest. So let's see, what do I have? A process that may repeat at a later date. Okay. And so that was another thing. It's like the moment you think you get this aha, like, oh God, I got this. Well, it's going to come back up for me. And all I want to do and help you do is to remember the shadow is going to present itself. The darkness, the fear, the anger, the frustration, is going to present itself until we go, wow, okay, let me see this opportunity. Let me dive in and do deep inquiry. And that's another thing I felt. There's a couple people that I have befriended on Instagram because they're so authentic and so real. And I just love these women. And so they would be the one, actually, I'm going to do a regression or therapy, because I really trust this woman. It's a 2-hour one. I haven't done that for a very long time. And I just really trust her because of her energetics. And that's what we have to pay attention to. Someone's energy and her authenticness. And there's a sweetness under everything that she is. And so I'm going to do with next Monday, I think we're going to do that. So, and then there's another woman that's a beautiful coach, and she's just so, what's the word? Something I'm not, mild, or just really steady and really clear, but I was horribly authentic. What kind of wording is that? Anyway, very authentic, beautifully authentic. And so she's one I actually thought about when I was in this dark time. But when you're there, when you're really in it and in the muck of it, there's a part of you that wants to reach out to someone else for help. And then there's a deeper part that says, I can't. I have to go through this myself. I can't have any distractions. I'm just going to go in this deeply until I come out of it. And then I can reach out for those people. And the interesting thing this morning, when I finally did go on Instagram again, I just briefly went on, this person came up. I'll share her link, came up, and I didn't click her newest post. I clicked another post, and I can't remember if it was labeled as fear or what it was, or something like that. And I hit it, and I went, oh my God, I listened to this before. Days before I even went into this darkness, like it was trying to prepare me. Because I'm going, yeah, man, yeah, I get all that stuff. And yeah, in this great awakening, we have to stay strong. And the dark forces are going to come to us at every way and try to knock us off our game. And, what's happening on this planet right now. And I'm not going to let that happen, boy. I'm going to be solid. Well, got knocked on my ass. So yeah, that's so solid. So anyway, it's really difficult to reach out for people when you're in it. And I think there's a part of us that knows we have to go in this alone. It's not something anybody else can do. But once we come out, they are great people to brainstorm and even send a text to and say, hey, I don't want any help right now. I just want you to know I'm in this state. And I could use some prayers or something, or, just say, hey, I'm sliding into this. Can you hold the energy for me? Whatever it is. So any way, I'm sure there's lots more things that my consciousness wanted you to hear, but you'll see it's not real. Oh yeah, you come to a place where in deep inquiry, where you realize what your fears aren't even real. So that's a really fascinating place to, and they're the beliefs of the mind. But they just didn't want to be suppressed anymore. Or shamed. And that's another thing. We were so shamed, most of us as children. And that's where that core, when I work with people, when I get to the very core of most things, it's that unworthiness. I'm not good enough. Well, somebody programmed that into you, because that ain't true. We've got this self-healing vehicle. If we pay attention to it and we don't think we're good enough, holy cow. Anyway, so we're going through this great awakening as a planet, and therefore we have done oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to wait on this because this gets kind of heavy. But we are taking on the dark energies, but it's not to push them away. It's Tonglen. If you haven't heard of it, it's a Tibetan practice. And when I first learned it, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this, because you're actually pulling in the darkness. And you're thinking, I'm not pulling in the darkness, I'm pushing it out. But there's something about when you're pulling it in from the planet, it's actually going through you. And then it makes room for light to enter. So it's really a fascinating practice. And every time I kind of, forget about this stuff when you're in that darkness, but be with it. And that's okay too. It's okay to be in that darkness. It's okay to forget. And your higher soul is not going to let you then off with yourself if you really came here to do something, and this is your life journey to help the planet. So anyway, we won't go into the rest right now. I think that's quite enough. So I'm going to end with all of you intuitive, empathic beings out there, that as you come to this awakening, the more you awaken, don't think that you're regressing because of these times. Realize that you are also feeling the energy of the entire planet. So all the light and love beings and, you know, everything's wonderful beings, somebody's got to process the darkness that they're hiding within themselves. Or it's going to take, we can't bring as many people with us for this great awakening. And really, this is, yes, we've had many through history awakenings, but nothing as big and powerful as this. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. And yeah, ask any questions or comments. And if you would like some more videos from me, press subscribe and the little bell, then you'll get notifications. But I'd love to hear from you and some of your experiences and what wisdom you want to pass on to the collective. Because even as we write it for others, we are actually writing it to reinforce it within ourselves. Okay, love, and jump into the shadows when it comes up. Don't go looking for them, but when they come up, any uncomfort, anything anyone says to you that triggers anything in you, go, oh, there's something in this that is actually a gift that I'm going to take a look at. I'm going to sit in, and why did I feel rejected? Why did I feel less than? Why did I feel stupid? Why? You go in and you find that part of yourself. So if you don't know how to do it yourself, reach out to a great coach, and sending you love and light and enjoying the shadow when it comes up and playing with it and knowing it's not bad. It's a learning tool. Okay. Have a fantastic day. End of meeting. End of